Plenty to unpack today. Joshua Zirkzee future, Mainoo's game time frustration, and reports that Barada and Wilcox's meeting with the players this week. Is something bubbling at Manchester United? Get involved with your own opinions in that comment section and smash that like button to help support the channel. Let's start with Joshua Zirkzee and reports stating that he's becoming frustrated with the lack of game time at United.
One thing about Joshua Zirkzee, from the moment he arrived here, he has divided Man United's opinion. Not the player we needed. We needed a goal scorer. He's clearly not a goal scorer. 3 goals in 32 games. I like the player. I think he's a good footballer, but I don't think he's a good fit for Manchester United. If you look at what happens in football, he's got a chance of playing football, but it's the long-term future. There's players in front of him. You look at Rúben Amorim's system, doesn't quite fit into it. He's not a starter. Well, at the end of the day, we paid a lot of money for him. I'm looking at the future. He's looking at game time. He wants to play football. That's what he wants to do. He also is looking at getting in the Dutch squad. He wants that World Cup as well. He wants to play football. I don't believe he's got a future at Manchester United.
I think he'd do well in a forward two strikers, him as a number 10 and someone else as a number 9, like let's say possibly Sesko. And you're looking in the 2 number 10 positions that we've got, it's top heavy. Joshua Zirkzee, is he that out and out goal scorer that you're going to want in your team, who's going to be starting regular? I just don't think he's got that.
And we all expected goals. We thought we was getting a goal scorer, and it's not there. He's played under 2 managers. The football at Manchester United just doesn't suit him at all. No goals, really. 3 goals, that's a poor return. The style of football at Manchester United was never going to suit him. I think it's been a poor buy. He's not a poor player. And at the end of the day, you look at Manchester United, the men in suits and that, they just look at it and think, we've no need to hang around with this player. We'll move him on. And I think they all understand what's going to happen in the future. Good player, and I think someone will get a good bargain there, to be honest with you.
Going on to Kobbie Mainoo as well. I mean, these reports were coming out in the last few days of the actual transfer window that he was looking to go on loan somewhere for the same reasons as Joshua Zirkzee, looking forward towards that World Cup and getting a place cemented in there. And I'm thinking with Kobbie, as soon as that January transfer window comes, I do expect him to leave United on loan.
Yeah, there'll be loads of noise about Kobbie Mainoo, but I go back 18 months ago. We've spoke about it many times, Kieran. It's down to the contract. He's been offered a contract a couple of times, to be honest, and he's turned it down. It's reports he's been offered contracts. So for me, when you hear stories like that, players discontent at not being paid what they believe is their value, there's a couple of things now. He's not getting on the pitch because Bruno's there. The manager has made it clear he's got to do more work to take Bruno out of the equation. So for me, I just think he's going to go. He goes on the pitch and then suddenly he sort of fades. But that's the way the game is being played for Manchester United. It doesn't suit him.
Moving away really from the reports, more about our opinions and yours out there. Do you think Amorim's doing the right thing, though? Not giving him enough game time? Kobbie Mainoo, he's not started one Premier League game this season.
Well, he's made it clear. There's one position you're going to get, and that's Bruno's position. A position Bruno was taken up at the start of the season. So he's out of the equation with the manager. And that's basically how I look at it. And I think lots of other United fans, I seen him come on the other day and he got a good reception from the fans. So fans believe in his football. I believe in his football. You only have to go back the other season and you just seen he just came straight through, got in the England squad, but a really good player where you've seen he had a future. But his future's been frozen out here. And obviously with the contract negotiations keep continuing and that keep bubbling up, I just see only one way out, and the men in suits will just cash in on him. That's how I see it. A very, very good player and a talent I think we're going to lose, and we might regret it, but I don't see any other way around it, to be honest with you.
Yeah, like I say, the last few days of the transfer window, when all that news was coming out about Mainoo wanting to leave on loan, I was very, maybe too much really, pro Mainoo and wanting him to get game time and not really happy about the thoughts and suggestions of him leaving United, especially on loan. But the more I look at it, don't get me wrong, I've still got question marks on Amorim's long-term future here. But you've got to go with a manager and stick with a manager on this one, surely. That if he doesn't think that he's up to the required standard to start games and any consistency that way, you've got to back the manager. Surely the manager's saying to Kobbie behind the scenes as well, like, look, Bruno's the standard in centre midfield, and you've got to match that or do better to get into this side. Surely that's what it's about as well. raising them standards.
Well, you'd normally turn around and say you back the manager and everything else like that. But what he's done with Kobbie Mainoo, he's created a problem by bringing Bruno into a position he didn't need to do. That's not Bruno's position. He's better off further forward. Really, Kobbie Mainoo, all right, has been blocked by the manager. That's how I look at it. And there was no need for it. So I'm not backing the manager on this. I think he's created a problem what didn't need to be there. Yes.
So you're looking at it like, well, really, with Bruno Fernandes, he's moved a square peg into a round hole where you've already got that round peg to go into that round hole with Kobbie Mainoo.
In my opinion, Mainoo would have been flying as if to say, right, that's your position. Make sure you don't drop below the standards of what's required. And away you go. Well, he's suddenly been blocked by the manager. For me, it looks, and to many fans out there, he's been frozen out. I don't understand that thought process by the manager, creating a problem with a promising young star for the future. When Rúben Amorim came in, we was told he was going to work with all the young players and that. Well, he's frozen a young player out, a future star. Bruno Fernandes, his lifespan at Manchester United isn't that long. We all know that. We discuss it all the time and that. Even people are talking about Bruno leaving at the end of the season. There was 100 million offered for him. So really, you're working with young players and then to freeze out one of the best potential players going forward for Manchester United from the academy is absolutely baffling. There's still that problem with the contract. That's where the downward spiral. So people might have a different attitude inside the club because of that. But as a player, he should have been on the pitch at the start of the season, working towards moving Bruno further up. But that's the manager's fault. So I'm not backing the manager.
You're looking at two players here that we're discussing, Xerxes and Mainoo, and it looks like their first thought process is to get game time so that they can get into the national teams into that World Cup. And, you're looking at players who I'm going to mention now, the likes of Maguire, Luke Shaw, Marcus Rashford, where I think it's been pretty clear to Manchester United fans, it's always been the England national team for me before Manchester United. So I've got a bit of an issue with that, especially when you look at them three players and how their careers and their performances have worked out at Manchester United. And it's, for me, Manchester United first before any national side. So concentrate on the football here and the club that pay you wages and force yourself into the team.
Yeah, I don't think it's the national side what's in his first thoughts, Kobbie Mainoo. I think it's Manchester United. He's desperate to play. He knows what Manchester United is all about. You see it in his face. I seen it the other day, how disappointed he was. He wants to be on the pitch for Manchester United. That's his first love. That's how I see it. But I think he's fallen out of love, and I do understand why, because the manager has frozen him out.
Still a lot of football, though, to be played from now until that January transfer window opens and actually slams shut. And you've also got to factor in around them positions when the AFCON comes up. We're going to lose the likes of Ahmad and Brian and Bumo who can play in them positions, so might even make their cause for a starting spot even stronger with Xerxes and Mainoo. But let's wait and see, because like I said, there's still some football to be played. And if they do get their opportunity, just like any of the other players, they need to grab it with both hands. Going on to other reports, Barada, Wilcox, I must state, this wasn't an official meeting, nothing so-called crisis talks. It was just a bit of a chat with the likes of Bruno Fernandes and the leadership team who were the players at Manchester United.
I don't understand all this. Let's just have a chat with the players. Why they keep mithering him. It just baffles me completely. These players go into training, get on with it. There's the managers, there's the coaches. That's who the players should be talking to. Not Barada, not Wilcox, them gauging the mood and all that. Just sums up Manchester United. Too many people having chats with different people, trying to gauge things. What do you mean gauge things? We know the football's not right. Manchester United players should be doing better. Barada and Wilcox putting the nose in and just chatting to players. That, for me, is a no-no. It is a definitely no-no. Like Kieron says, it wasn't like something what was arranged to meet. It's a casual chat. They should be keeping out of the way. Too many chiefs? That's how I see it.
Too many chefs in the kitchen, something like that. But I've got to say, I think, from my point of view, I just think it's good housekeeping. I mean, it probably goes on at every other Premier League or Championship club out there, especially when you're coming up to an international break, to try and gauge the mood and the feelings amongst the players and any staff to try and sort out any issues. You know, you'd rather try and sort out an issue and actually put the plaster on it right now than actually just leave that wound to the actual fester. So for me, sitting down with the players just to have that chat, you know, relax one, just to see what the mood's like amongst players, just so they can gather their own actual thoughts and feelings of it as well.
Well, if there's anything wrong, part of that leadership group can go to them. Are they really going to tell the truth to Barada and Wilcox? Are they really going to stir the pot? You know what players are like. They sit in their little groups, they have their little chats, they have their own little, conflab where they say things, but they won't say it elsewhere. Are they really going to jeopardise what they're really thinking? I don't think so. I think it's something what gets in the way, and it just confuses the issue of what's going on. United just need to get back on the training pitch with the manager and coaches and thrash it out there, not have little side chats. For me, it's a distraction.
I mean, recent reports that Ratcliffe was there, was it only a couple of weeks ago, all week as well, to have, you know, meetings that were scheduled with Rúben Amorim, etc. And I'm all for that. I mean, more the better to gauge the mood and also to demand answers, you know, on performances, not just as a team, but individuals as well. And let's not, you know, go on as though it doesn't happen. But players who aren't in the squad, I'm not saying they have done, but like the likes of Xerxes, Mainoo, you know, do you think their agents are just sat on the backside, not giving the likes of Barada, Wilcox phone calls to try and engage and find out why their players aren't in favour with the manager? It goes on up and down the country at every football club in the land. So for me, if they're doing their job right by getting the players together, finding out what the moods are, anything they can actually put right, because let's have it right, the last 10 months, the stats are appalling. So they need to be doing something and checking in on what's going right and what's going wrong. And if there's anything going wrong or the mood's not right, how do we fix it? And how do we fix it for the manager?
But the players have got to work hard and they've got to produce on the pitch. The manager's got to turn it round. He's got to work hard and we've got to get results. I just think too many chit-chats really get in the way of it. But hey, that's my opinion. Kieran's got his. You get yours in.
I tell you what, actually, Harry Maguire, I've seen some reports over the last 2 days.
Yeah.
You know, one report I've seen that they won't be offering him a new contract, which runs out at the end of the season, where I've seen reports today that they will offer him one, or they're thinking about it, but they won't be offering him 190 grand a week and what he's currently on now.
You've got to look at if United keep him, it sort of tells you where they're going in the transfer market. I think Harry Maguire, no more contracts for Harry. He's done well to come back from the horrendous abuse he's received, to be honest with you, and his poor displays. So for me, you have to look at Harry Maguire, and it gives an indication of what Manchester United are going to do in the transfer window. We need a top centre-half. There's several players like Luke Shaw, for instance. They need replacing and new blood bringing in. So if these players end up getting a new contract, it sort of tells you the way Manchester United are going to go in the transfer market in the summer. So that's not a good look, to be honest with you, for the future of Manchester United, keeping players like Harry Maguire, who really, their time's up.
Yeah, the wages factor in there as well. Should United be offering Harry Maguire with his age as well a new contract? And you're looking then, like you said, about the transfer windows, what their plan is or what their ideas is, not just in the January, but the summer after. I mean, is it Bruno Fernandes' last year? Casemiro as well at Manchester United. Doubts about Kobbie Mainoo's long-term future. So they must be having targets and they must be doing the groundwork now to at least go and identify 2 central midfielders, either in the January market or specifically that summer window next year. Belieber, Anderson, you know, Wharton from Crystal Palaces. I think they're 3 names that will be getting contact. Well, they will be 3 names that will be getting linked to United, I think, more strongly towards the end of the season. And I'd love 2 out of the 3, definitely.
Well, I'll finish it on this. I wanted a centre-half. I believed the centre-half was one of the priorities this season in the transfer market, and we didn't get it. Now, Harry Maguire, go at the end of the season. We have to bring in a brand new footballer, a really good footballer at centre-half, and it got to be brought in at the summer. The likes of Harry Maguire, his time's up as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, of course, when you're seeing the games against Brentford and Man City, the high lines that Rúben Amorim does like to use during the games as well. And in 2025, you know, it's not really suited to Harry Maguire. Let's be honest with ourselves. And it's not suited to a lot of players. I think pace, power, athleticism, is one of the core profiles they're looking for in players at Manchester United for the future. But let us know what your thoughts and opinions are on today's chat and what we've given with our opinions. But most importantly, get involved with your own in that comment section so we can have a good read. Smash that like button to help support the channel, and we'll be back tomorrow with another video. So you take care, get that notification on, and we'll see you again soon, Reds. Thank you.
Thank you.